think if Dame would have played the role as Kareem Burks did, Kareem, and just played the background and just handled the business correctly.
Everybody here is ashamed of y'all. Who wants to work under a cow?
They don't have to. I know.
Cow!
Maybe Roc-A-Fella still would be, you know, the force that we was. And then
Forget about it, man. Before you get in this rap business, you better learn the business.
I love Beans. I love Jay. What's the reason for beef? That's just stupid. People die. People don't feel good. I want people to laugh. I heard one thing, I just was surprised. I was hurt, you know, but for him more or less, because I know that ain't him. But I don't even want to speak on that, you know what I mean? Because it's like, whatever he going through, he got to do that, then, you know, I can understand where he might look at things and may feel that way. I can see that. You got a lot of people around him, and, you know, nobody's there to really tell him what's really going on. And it was a different environment for Roc-A-Fella back then. I feel bad for those cats, man. I hate the fact, I love those dudes. I hate that they struggle. I hate it, man. I hate to see anybody struggle. I don't want none of my peoples to struggle. I don't embrace that. I'm not one of those dudes that get happy when I hear something bad about somebody that I had some kind of a bond with at some point. That's not real. I really love those dudes. Like, you see Ski down there? I know Ski for 20 years. That's my man. Like, you know, no matter what. Like, yo, that's just how I'm built. I don't do all that. Like, I'm not the kind of guy that, like, loses friends, really. Like, sometimes people have different agendas for why they don't want to be my friend, and that's cool. So go do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, I'm always there for them, no matter what. I'm not that man. I don't take it that serious. We made too much cake.
The brotherhood between Dame Dash and Beans is nothing short of complicated. The two made millions, lost millions, had public falling out, and each went on to rebuild their lives. If nothing less, you have to respect their hustle. In this video, we take a closer look at what happened between Dame Dash and Beanie Sigel.
Dame set me down and he had a plan, regardless what the plan was, and mapped it out like this was going to do. The smartest decision at that time for me would have rolled with Dame, because Dame was more accessible than Jay was. Dame was in the office every day. You could talk to Dame. You know what I mean? Dame used to come and chill on the block in South Philly. You know what I mean? Dame pull up and Biggs at Mom Duke's spot. So, yeah, I think if we would have sat and he would have showed me and explained to me, you know, our business plan and what we was going to do, that would have been an easy decision, business-wise, to rock out with Dame.
Y'all know I sold my part of Rockware, you know. I felt it was time, and that's what a hustler does. You build equity, and then you sell it and move on to the next thing. So, you know, the music business, I know a lot of people are like, what you gonna do next, and all this. You know, hip-hop, I love hip-hop, but it definitely takes a long time to break an artist. So my slate got wiped clean. You know what I'm saying? Everything I had invested in for all these years got really not taken from me, but bought from me. You know, and I couldn't continue really to work with them as I could. So if I'm gonna break something new, it will take me a couple of years. I'm not gonna front, you know.
I was more bothered when Beans chose to go with Jay. That one hurt, because I'd done a lot and prepared. I chose State Property over Rockware, and I wanted to just roll out with State Property. But it almost like he tricked Beans to shelf him, and he fucked his life up to me doing that. But I had him, you know what I mean? Like, that was my new Jay. So my plan for Beanie was to make, because I didn't know if he was going to get convicted or not, I was trying to make 3 or 4 albums so he could get $1 million, because he got $1 million advance. Everyone did that sold over 500,000 records. So I just wanted to keep him with $1 million every year he was in jail to take care of his family. But I didn't have any support. So yeah, it's kind of hard to do everything on your own. So I basically, when we released his album, I physically went and performed his records. That's my street team. So it's like, you know, nothing's perfect. I would have rather it come out. I would have rather him not been in jail. I would have rather not had to go to court every day from Philly, from Tribeca. I would have rather not had to, you know, he did his house arrest. Like, I had people talking to the judge, the jail. He did his house arrest in one of my cribs. Luckily, I had a few. But he did it in Tribeca so he could still work. When he was going through his trial, or when he was home on bail, I had him in a 5,000 square foot Tribeca loft, and his whole crew stood there. And then, you know, I made sure that he was protected by having cameras on at every second. And I made sure that we looked strong and that everybody in Roc-A-Fella came to support him at least once. That's what I did.
Dame started being famous. You know, the camera. He fell victim to the camera.
Dame's talent is finding talent, not being the talent. That's his talent. Not being the talent, finding the talent. So that's why I be looking at it and they be like, yo, but people gotta realize this. When they be like, yo, shit is viral. Viral is not always a good thing.
You know, you're liable to say anything. You could be anybody. Or I think if Dame would have played the role as Kareem Burks did, Kareem, and just played the background and just handled the business correctly, maybe Roc-A-Fella still would be, you know, the force that we was. And then, but on the second hand, I think Jay was growing. And in my eyes, at a certain point in time, I just think he felt, you know, it's time for me to go ahead and do my own thing. We made enough money together. Dame was spending a lot of company money, going on a lot of trips and going into a lot of other business adventures, and, you know, robbing Peter to pay Paul and taking money from out of here and trying to build other brands and stuff without consulting with his partners. And that's what kind of, I think, really brought the demise to Roc-A-Fella. Because to me, all right, as partners, if three was partners and you messing the money up, Jay even said, he said if everybody in your clique is rich, your clique is rugged, nobody will fall because we would be all each other's crutches. So if he still had that mentality, it would have been a meeting took place. Dang, you keep taking his money from here. We can't have you. You can't do that. So we still gonna do what we do, but you can't be in charge of that no more. And put somebody in place of that position and do something to change that where he couldn't have access to just take company money and spend it on whatever he was doing with it. And I think that's what happened.
You don't make no money like that off of selling albums. You make some sense. Your album gets sold in the stores for like $16, $17, and as an artist, you be lucky if you getting 35, 50 cents off your album. Like your record sales, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't really get no money off your record sales unless you own your company, you know what I mean? Your record company. That's when you start seeing real money, because like, first of all, it's a pie that get divided all up between your record label, you know what I mean, the distributor, then is the producer, the writer, the artist. You know what I'm saying? That's a big pie that get broke up in that 100% of whatever you doing. So when you writing a song and you write your rap and you think your rap hot, you like, I got this rap, and you get a beat from your man, you put it down and you put it out and it do whatever, it go platinum, you think you're gonna see all this money. It ain't gonna happen like that, because even if your single going for $4, you make $4 million off of that, but you only seeing some cent. Because the record company, first of all, you got the record company, you know what I mean, that's putting the album out, and they controlling most of the equity that come, you know what I mean, from that album, all the money, you know what I mean, they getting their percentage, they getting probably more than 60%. You know what I mean? Because they putting it out as they brand, as they label. They paying for the people to distribute, you know what I mean, your album. And the distributors got to get their little piece and they break down from it. And then your record label might gas you. I might buy your publishing. And your publishing is what you eat off of. And that's what I was talking about with that with that BDS, them spins. When you own your own publishing, that means you own the right to your lyrics. When you sign your contract and you sign away your publishing, that means everything that you writing for this person because he own that. He own you. So it's like slavery. You like a slave to your label until you pay back whatever he gave you, advance or whatever. They tell you that we assign you for this amount of money or whatever. You even say they sign you for $1 million. Let me tell you how broke you'll get real quick. They sign you for $1 million. You got $1 million. Say $2 million, cause that $1 million ain't no money on some real. And I spent $1 million in 7 months, but that's another topic, and that's on some real shit. They give you $2 million. Now you go the legit route. Uncle Sam, you in a different tax bracket now because you're an entertainer. You know what I'm saying? So it's step up. So they give you $2 million after you in that 40-50% tax brackets. You got $1 million. Now you got lawyers. You got lawyers that handle your business and the paperwork from your contracts. They might want anywhere between 5 and 10%. We're gonna max out, say 10%. So out of that $1 million, now you only got you left with 900,000. You know what I mean? You just got a $2 million check and only 2 people got paid out of that check. You only got 900,000. Now you got management. Your management take anywhere between 10 and 20%. So out of that 900,000, they take 20%. You know what I mean? Out of that. So you got 900,000, you know what I mean, a check. So you do the math on that. 10% of that 900,000 is 90,000. Then you got another 10% because they getting 20%. So 90,000 to 90,000, that's right there. That's 180,000 out the 90,000. So you take the math, you do the math out that's 720. You got 720,000 out of that. Now your management got broke down, your lawyer got broke down, Uncle Sam took their money, you know what I'm saying? Now you got 720,000 out of 2 million. All right, you can't do shit with that because you ghetto rich. That's the same shit you was getting in the hood. If you was hustling right, you better have at least a $500,000 buried somewhere, duct tape wrapped up or whatever. So you go out, you buy the crib. You get a crib like, you know what I mean, 200,000. You moving out the suburbs because cribs in the hood right now, 150 something. You damn near in the projects. You know what I'm saying? So you go get a nice crib. Say you spend $250,000 on that, 250 out the 720 you got. You know what I'm saying? So you left right now with the 250. You probably got like 4 and some change left. So you go buy a little well. You can't buy the Bentley. I got 2 Bentleys, you know what I mean? One of my Bentleys costs $360 for the red label, the Reese Cup, chocolate brown, peanut butter guts, V12 engine in it, red label, ridiculous. The blue Bentley, that costs like $270, $280, you know what I mean? That's the green label. Both of them is Arnages, but that's another story, you know what I mean? Forget about that. That's over $500,000 in car. But you go buy the Benz. To get the 600. You know what I mean? You get that, $160, $170 out of the 4 something. Now you got 3 and some change left. Now all your homies and all your new relatives and your friends come around. So you're going to get jewels. My bracelet, I paid like 42 for this and about 30 something for this. So that's 40 something, 30 something. That's damn near 80,000. That's almost a bean right there. The chain right there with the piece alone, platinum, everything platinum. My piece costs about 20,000, some shit like that. You gonna go get some jewels. I don't even got the ring, the watches that I got home, and the other jewels that I don't even wear because I can't wear all that shit like a Mr. T, look like a clown. You know what I'm saying? So you go buy you some jewels. You know what I mean? You don't go all out like me. You go get some jewels. You get a nice watch. You're gonna spend about 20 to 30. You know what I mean? Nice chain, about 20. Bracelet, 20 to 30. You know what I'm saying? You keep it basic. Yo, after that, that's another bean, almost 200 out the 4 something. You down to $1. Now you got your friends that's coming around. So say you got a couple friends, you want to break them off. Birds in the hood, you get a brick. Brick like anywhere between 22 and then drought. It's like Little Free just came in, and a drought is like 22 without a drought, and a drought it go anywhere between 26 and 30 something. So you get a couple homies a brick. Say you look out for like 4 of your homies, give them a brick. That's another bean. Now you only got 100,000 left, and you got the car, you got the crib, you broke everybody down, but you still owe that $2 million, and you got a car note, and you got a crib that you got to pay mortgage on and bills. You broke within like 4 something months. Is ridiculous. So that's some real shit. And take it from Sigel, I know, cause I was on top of my thing, and and I didn't even talk about the accountants and all that shit, man. Y'all forget about it, man. Before you get in this rap business, you better learn the business.
You know, the thing was Beanie started making decisions that I just would be like, go ahead. So every decision Beanie made was his. He chose to go the direction of Jay. That was his decision. Even though things were going on, I don't knock him for it. Like I said, I think, like, to me, everybody in Roc-A-Fella should have been a billionaire. And the question I always ask is, how come there's no more Roc-A-Fella? I left it on somebody's watch. How come there's no more Rockware? I left it on somebody's watch. What you should talk about is, what did Roc-A-Fella look like when I had it, and then when I didn't? How cool was it before, and then it just evaporated? I don't understand why no one asked that question. It'd be logical. It'd be like, damn, when Roc-A-Fella was, you was there, it was hot. Now it doesn't exist. When Rockware was there, and I was, spending all this money, it was hot. But now it doesn't exist. How come these things don't exist anymore, and only, no one that was a part of it has a volume of money? Let me just tell you something. Anyone that works every day, that's in front of a camera every day, that's doing shows every day, it's because they have to. They got you buy, but you have bills that you have to maintain. Nobody really wants to do physical work. Wealth is, to me, how much you don't have to work.
Both Beans and Dame are far away from their positions at the top. However, they are both continuing to build. Beanie with his food truck, and Dame with his next movement.
Nah, the Fristo? Look at the Fristo. Nah.
One skill Dame is known for is recognizing and building talent. In this next clip, you're going to hear how Dame immediately saw potential in someone that would later become a world-known superstar. And as you're about to hear, people doubted his choice, and to this day, they either love or hate the artist. What's even more interesting is Dame is now putting the same energy into a new artist. And just like one of his other superstars, the hate is very present. But we'll get to that later.
Dame's talent is finding talent, not being the talent. That's his talent. Not being the talent, finding the talent.
Everybody know Dame got a aggressive way of, putting out whatever you trying to put out, say whatever you want to say. Dame is very unapologetic, and he's very passionate in anything he do. So I don't know. I guess people wasn't ready for that aggressiveness. Dame was more hands-on with a lot of things than anybody. The higher ups from Roc-A-Fella, far as being in, whether it was Roc-A-Wear, clothing, or being in the studio when we was recording, Dame was very hands-on.
So pretty much when y'all would need something, y'all would go to Dame. He'll be the one that would help y'all out.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Dame was the one that took a chance on Kanye, right?
Yeah, far as my knowledge from the gate, yeah. A lot of people wanted Kanye just to be a producer, or thought that that's just what he was good at. But nah, Ye was special. I think Dame seen that early. We embraced Ye from the gate before the blueprints and all that. Yeah, we felt as though Ye was part of state property. We rock with Ye. Ye might come with a joint that already got a hook on it that he did. Yeah, we want that. That was Yeezy. Yeah, Yeezy had to try to get on no record. Yeezy was making the hits.
How was that like when y'all was around Roc-A-Fella and he came out with College Dropout, and that shit was so huge the way it was?
It was crazy. It was regular. Like, Ye did what we thought Ye was going to do. As far as, state property. We looked at Ye in a different light.
The early 2000s, niggas would say, I'm about to blow up. What moment was that for you?
It wasn't necessarily a moment that I thought that I was going to blow up. It was more of what was told to me. And what was told to me was this. When I got to Roc-A-Fella and Dame gave me that opportunity with Roc-A-Fella, he told me some shit I didn't want to hear. He said, Cam, listen, you had an opportunity. A lot of people don't get a second opportunity. We got you out the deal. Now it's your second opportunity. This shit gonna go. If it don't go, don't worry about it. I'll give you a job. And I'm like, give me a job? That was scary for me. I was like, nah, this got to work. So I started putting all the muscle in it, the label and everything else and making, crossing my T's, dotting my I's, et cetera, because when a nigga told me if this don't work, he'll give me a job, I was like, that was anxiety, nigga. I had anxiety behind that shit, nigga. So it took that moment for me to say, this, I got to do everything in my power to make it work.
I want to introduce you to Nikki Licky.
Okay. Hello.
And it's funny because she made that diss track on 50 and all that, and Cam, and it was because she had, I'm like, yo, them coming at me, she felt the weight, but she's a singer, which is funny, but she's like, that I got them for you, and I like that.
Let's get it.
How that bro? What you got? I got some serious hot sauce.
Yeah, this is like platanos right here. This is like some good. Oh, I got some candy yams too.
While Dame is building an artist, Beans is building a food business. If you've been to his spot or plan to show up and support it, let us know how the food tastes.
This is amazing. This is actually my first Philly cheesesteak ever. I've missed it every time I've been in this town, and this is so exciting that I actually get to try one for the first time. And it's yours.
Yes, sir.
It's yours. So appreciate this. Thank y'all.
Come on, pull up on us, man. Pull up on us. 2400 Passyunk Avenue. Grab and roll, wings and bowls. The home of the Bully Burger. This is what we doing out here. I ain't beefing, I'm beefing. Get in.
I'm right here.
Come here, Matthew. Where's the honey hot at? Right here? And the drizzle.
Oh shit, I get it. You doing shit, Lord? Doing shit. Drizzle is crazy. How we doing this? Which one first?
Well, you leave it open.
Oh, you let him do what he want to do.
Yep. Take it away. You gotta give him a fork.
Napkin.
Just drop on that.
He did the drizzle.
Drizzle on the fried shrimp with the fries. Where you at? Where my guy at?
Ski.
Ski, where you at?
Ski, you fool.
Ski!
I've been waiting.
You ready?
The extra shrimp in there, bro, please.
Man, after you eat that, give us extra couple dollars.
Hey, no more.
That's
This is my job. Yeah. I gotta eat it in front of y'all though. Hold
Special
up.
occasion for me, man. It's extra for me to prepare your meal.
If I don't like it, man, we're gonna turn the cameras off.
You don't like it. Say no more. Say no more.
Oh my God. It's like that? It's like that? Okay. You trying to say less.
So that's some real shit, and take it from Sigel, I know, because I was on top of my thing, and I didn't even talk about the accountants and all that shit, man. Y'all forget about it, man. Before you get in this rap business, you better learn the business.
What's the next step for that? Are you opening up more?
More.
So we're building a franchise?
So if it gets to that,
Yeah.
but my goal, what my dream is to, in Philadelphia, you know, a lot of people, they go to certain bars to get certain foods because certain chefs only have accessibility to the kitchen in the back of the bar. But everybody don't go to bars. And a lot of them chefs is qualified, certified, and bona fide, but they just don't have that brick and mortar spot. So my goal is for any and everybody, if they have, you know, their certifications and they can cook and their food is good, I want to help set them up with food trucks all across the city.
Wow.
Then move on to the next city. Like I'm trying to take this across the United States of America.